Tell us about your uncle.
My uncle. Now that's a crazy story because my uncle, you ever seen Soul Food?
Mm-hmm.
When you got the uncle that lived, that stay in the room, never come out, Uncle Robbie. He was that guy. You never seen him, he was the uncle that we knock on the door to bring the food to him and everything. This is my mother's brother, oldest brother at that. So we moved with Cliff on South 10th Street, and he had got evicted. My grandmother had passed away, so he couldn't live with my grandmother anymore. We never knew where Robbie was. Nobody knew. Like, Robbie been missing for forever. We living on 10th Street, and my mother started screaming hysterically. We trying to figure out, like, what's going on? She reading the paper, and body remains have been found of this guy, right? And I remember her screaming and saying, "It's Robbie." I was like, what? Let my mom tell it. They were the closest, so he followed her. The house that they found the dismembered parts was across the street from our house where we was living at. We living here, he's living right there on the corner. I was like, what the? So she's like, he must have been following her and trying to stay close to her. How true is that? But how coincidentally is it that that's where it was, right there on the corner where she lived? And by the dental records, they found out it was her brother.
Wow.
So that was crazy because, I didn't know him, but I knew it was my uncle. We knew him because he was always behind the door. He was the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Nobody messed with him. But it still hurt to see my mom in pain like that, because that was her big brother.
They ever find who did it?
Never.
Wow.
Maybe because, nowadays when you think about it, like he had mental issues, so he probably was trying to defend himself. Who knows?
Yeah. Man, how do those scars affect you, man? How did you stay sane through that?
I just keep pushing. I mean, now that I do this work, it's therapeutic, because I get to see the pain on some of the young people. Even though they don't want to talk about it, I see it because I was that kid that everybody thought was good. Or that even though you thought I was good and I was acting out, it was because something else was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't ever want to talk about it. Most of my family didn't even know. My mother knew. And she would just talk to me like everything's going to be okay. It's not okay. It wasn't okay. But she didn't know no better because that's what she was brought up in. My grandmother, Sarah Jasper, she was mean, man. She was violent. So my mother grew up in a family that, they were just violent.
So you lost your grandfather, watch your friend get hit by a car. Uncle chopped up right down the street from you.
Yeah. Another friend of mine was pushed in front of a train. He was working. I wasn't there or anything. We just got the news. I was dating his niece, and that was traumatic because Brian was everything to us. He was the big mentor, and he was a big dude, so like we always thought that, the hate is down and he worked for the railroad station.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you, come on, where to step, all that other good stuff. And again, speculations, but somebody pushed him in front of the train.
Wow.
North Penn Station. Right. That was hard. Because you think about all your friends around you, the people that you really love dying. And then, when I think about the family, big scar is 10 family members died of AIDS. Right. So that scared the shit out of me with AIDS growing up, like crazy. Both of my father's brothers, his younger brother and his older brother, AIDS.
Wow.
My mother, six of her brothers, AIDS. Cousins that we called uncles, gone, AIDS. So people just disappearing because of this disease. And back then, you know, I don't want to put the family business out there. I did it already, but I don't put the family business out